Good afternoon and welcome to this meeting of Municipality of Dutton Dunwich. It is March 11th, 2026. It is 5 p.m. and I'll call this meeting to order. Randy, please.
Moved by Loveland, seconded by Pemberton, that the meeting of the Council of the Municipality of Dutton Dunwich opens at 5 p.m. All in favor? That's carried.
Thank you. And would somebody volunteer for the land acknowledgement, please? Corey Pemberton? It's on the top there. Thank you.
We begin by acknowledging that the land on which we gather is the traditional territory of First Nations people who have long-standing relationships to the land, water, and region of southwestern Ontario. We also acknowledge the local lower Thames River watershed communities, which include Chippewa of the Thames First Nation, Oneida Nation of the Thames, Munsee Delaware Nation, and Delaware Nation of Moraviantown. We value the significant historical and contemporary contributions of local and regional First Nations and all of the original peoples of Turtle Island, North America. We are thankful for the opportunity to live, learn, and share with mutual respect and appreciation.
Good. Thank you for that. I would remind council of any declaration of pecuniary interest. Seeing none. The draft minutes from February 11th. Okay. Were included in the agenda package. Are there any errors or omissions? Seeing none, the minutes will be adopted as presented to council in their agenda. Randy, are there any items not listed on the agenda?
None.
Thank you. Okay, on to correspondence. We have item A, it's Township of Perry, a resolution, reduced postal rates for library materials. Anyone wish to comment on that piece of correspondence? Nothing, a resolution, please, Randy.
Moved by Pemberton, seconded by Drouillard, that the Council of the Municipality of Dutton Dunwich receives and supports the resolution from the town of Perry regarding reduced postal rates for library materials, and that a copy of this resolution be sent to Rob Flack, MPP, Andrew Lawton, MP, and the town of Perry. All in favor? That's carried.
Okay, thank you. And item B is Municipality of St. Charles, small northern new residential property tax class. It's a little out of our area, but anyone wish to comment on that? Resolution, please.
Moved by Drouillard, seconded by Dryfout, that the Council of the Municipality of Dutton Dunwich receives and supports the resolution from the Municipality of St. Charles regarding the addition of a small northern new residential property tax class, and that a copy of this resolution be sent to Rob Flack, MPP, Andrew Lawton, MP, and the Municipality of St. Charles. All in favor? That's carried.
And item C is the Township of Casey, a resolution concerning OMERS Bill 68. No comments on that from council or staff. You're the ones that are involved in it. Okay. You want to touch that one? All right, resolution, please.
Moved by Dryfout, seconded by Loveland, that the Council of the Municipality of Dutton Dunwich receives and supports the resolution from the town of KC regarding changes to OMER's governance structure through Bill 68, and that a copy of this resolution be sent to Rob Flack, MPP, Andrew Lawton, MP, and the town of KC. All in favor? That's carried.
Okay, thank you. On to the consent agenda, and we have some correspondence. The first one is a letter from Nancy Street Sidewalks, and anyone wish to comment on that one? Councillor Dryfout.
Through you, Mayor Hentz. First of all, I'd like to thank Linda for the letter to council and the concerns that she raises. I guess what I will indicate that we haven't had any significant funding in our budget for a couple of years now. And I think Councillor Pemberton and myself being on the Finance Committee, when I first came on council, there was a established amount of $40,000 each year for sidewalk repairs.
And then I think in our finance committee, we asked, because of our budget restraints and concerns of how we're spending the money, we felt that we wanted an accurate plan from staff on that could be communicated to the community of an approach that we're going to take. So if we're going to spend 40,000 a year, what are we going to do? Where is it going to happen? So I think that was our concern in our committee, rather than just allocating $40,000 to random sidewalks. And then the second part to that was that if the sidewalk is in disrepair or doesn't really need to be in a functionable location within the village, whether that be Wallacestown or Dutton, that it could be removed, and that we could develop a policy for that. So we'd ask staff to bring us forward a plan, so that we could as a council could make a better educated approach to the whole process. So I think that was, Councillor Pemberton, I think you would agree with me, that was our conversation at the finance committee. And I think the money that has been spent on sidewalks has been to repairs. So if there's a water line that need to be repaired, they would cut through the sidewalk and that would be repaired in the spring of the year. So that's kind of the situation that we're in. So.
Okay, thank you for that. If I could ask staff, has anyone followed up with this resident and taken a look at the situation on Nancy Street?
Through you, Your Worship, that's something we would I would circle back with our manager of roads to see if that has happened. I would imagine it has. If it hasn't, that would be upcoming. Further to the comment on the sidewalk plan, that was something that was made very clear during our finance budget meeting. And the thought there is we're going to be taking a look at our inventory to see, which ones are in disrepair, which ones that we need to identify, and then start putting priorities about which ones we're going to be focusing on. We're going to be also incorporating some GIS technology to showcase to the community of here's what we're working on. So it gives them a good idea of some of the areas that, right now we need to spend some more time and attention on in doing that. But the point is, policies being developed is going to be coming back for council's consideration.
Okay, thank you. And all of that infrastructure would be part of our asset management plan as well, if I'm
That's correct, yes.
Go ahead, Councillor Dreyfus.
Further to the conversation, the snow removal, I know that many municipalities have a policy on snow removal and what will be removed and what is a responsibility of the resident. So I think, again, there's a communication barrier here. It's in our budget, but I think I'm wondering if we could communicate it just a little bit better. I was reviewing one today just out of interest sake, and I saw a policy that actually said a percentage of your budget is allocated to removal of snow or to roads management or to in village management of snow removal. So I think the feeling sometimes from the community is that we don't do anything, and that there is no money. We're not putting money to where it benefits them as a resident, but communicating the fact that yes, we are actually spending money on it. In some years, it's more than others. So I think this is something we could address in the future. How can we communicate that? What will be a snow? What will be removed? What is your responsibility, and to what extent are we going to go? So.
Okay, thank you for that. Go ahead.
Through you, Your Worship, that's exactly some of the things that we have been looking at. Given the difficult snow year that we had this year, and what we started doing is tracking staff hours related specifically for snow removal. So that information is currently being gathered. We're hoping that we're done with the snow this year, but as soon as I said that, we're probably going to get some snow tonight. But once we have that completed, a report's coming back to council to indicate here's how much we spent dollars, hours toward that, and also to ensuring that that communication piece is important, as in what we're doing, how we're doing it, and the cost of doing that. So that report is coming back to council.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Drouillard.
Just one more thing to add to that. I had sent an email asking this similar questions as Councillor Dreyfus brought forward. The other piece is, I know that there's minimum maintenance standards for sidewalks. I'm not sure if they're captured in those smaller sidewalks because we don't have equipment that could actually do those at this point. So in our plan going forward, I'm thinking that we may need to include what our plan is for when those sidewalks are improved and and meeting those minimum maintenance standards.
Okay. Go ahead, Tony.
Through you, your worship, yes, that's exactly what we're looking at when the report comes back, and we're going to be having those issues and additional things that for council's consideration. So the issue of the minimum maintenance standards will be addressed, specifically even some of the smaller sidewalks.
Anything further on that? Okay. We have another item. It's the Western Ontario Wardens Caucus, February 2026 newsletter. Anyone wish to comment on that? See nothing? Okay. On to staff monthly reports. We have the Manager of Roads and Facilities monthly report. Everyone has had a look at that. Any questions, comments? Just one comment. Been a hard winter. How's the budget been strained? A question for James, if he has any thoughts on that.
So far in 2025.
Well, and look into this year.
Yeah, so 2025 was pushed way over budget. 2026 we'll probably go over budget again.
Okay.
Just once we're setting up the reserve to hopefully mitigate that
Okay,
in the future, so.
thank you. Go ahead.
Yeah, through your worship, that's one thing that we did have some discussions on in our 2026 budget, that we start planning for those heavier snowfalls years that we're experiencing this year. So that will be included in the report of those costs. But more importantly, we're going to have hopefully some years of lighter snowfalls, and that's where you start building those reserves. So you're preparing for that. I would expect most municipalities in Southwestern Ontario will probably be going into their reserves for the amount of snowfall that we have. So again, we're putting the money aside. This year, we're probably going to be incurring more than what we typically incur, but hopefully future years will help pay for these kind of once every few years we get these heavy snowfalls.
Okay, thank you for that. Can't predict the weather. Anything further on Murray's report? Water operations monthly report. Anyone wish to comment on that? Okay. Wastewater operator monthly report. No comments. I would like to see Archie's March 11th report, but he's not here with us today. We wish him well. And the building activity report. No. There is some activity out there. That's a good thing. Fire chief monthly report. Is chief gonna hang around for the camera? The one. Yeah, okay. Yeah. We don't often get our chief here, but any comments on your report other than what's in the paper?
No, not that. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay. This is your chance, council. Getting off easy. Drainage superintendents monthly report? Questions on that one? See none? Ooh. The recreation monthly report. Counselor Dreyfus.
I'll just make a comment, just keep the community kindness event on your radar, which is the 21st, I believe. I'd have to double check, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Yeah. So.
Thank you for that. And item 8, the planning monthly activity report. No comments? Randy, if resolution, please.
Moved by Loveland, seconded by Pemberton, that the items on the consent agenda be approved. All in favor? That's carried.
Okay. Item 8 on the agenda is the treasurer's report, 2026 municipal grant requests. James, I'll just turn it over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So bringing the 2026 municipal grant request report to council every year. The Municipality of Dutton Dunwich, we put out applications for nonprofit and charitable groups to sign up to apply for a grant, whether it be cash or in kind. So this year, the deadline was November 30th. We got our usual applications in from our groups. There was a financial request of 19,500. Staff is recommending a financial of 12,500. There's also some things that in-kind items that were asked for, such as tree trimming, use of grader at a tractor pull, chalk for tractor pull and locates. We are denying that kind of items. There's also grading of a laneway and dust control twice a year. We've agreed to that group to have grading once a year. 2025, the financial request was 20,000 and our in-kinds were 11,400. So we're just, yep, that's it.
Okay, thank you. Questions from council? Counselor Dreyfus.
Through your mayor, hence, I had asked James before the meeting about the Continental Heritage Society, and I know in our budget we had allocated $10,000 to the museum. I'm just curious as to why it's $5,000. I was at their annual meeting on Saturday, and the proposed budget that they put forward was $10,000. Now, I know we pay for a sign on the 401, I believe, which is 2,000. So I'm just wondering if that can be adjusted, or is council okay with the 5,000, or if we move that to 8,000? So it's a total of 10,000 as it is already in our budget. So I'm just putting it out there. I was surprised that it was 5,000. I wasn't expecting this. So.
Any comment, James, on that item?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. So in previous years, the Tricontinental Heritage Society has applied for a total of 10,000. We have also paid for the 401 en route sign. So this year in the budget, we dropped the financial assistance down to 8 to make it a total of 10 altogether. And yes, it was a surprise when the application came through and it was only for 5,000.
Counselor Pemberton?
I agree. I think we were expecting 10,000, but I guess my comment to that is if they're only asking for the 5, we're willing to give them what they're asking for. Why not stick with what they're asking for? Obviously they've got it figured out that that's what they need. So we're paying for the size. So really it's $7,000. So I'm not opposed to doing what's on here for that one. I just not sure why they're only asking for 5, but that's what they asked for. Oh,
Okay,
I guess I do have another question. I guess I know we granted a few things last year that we're denying this year, so I'd be curious before approving this, seeing kind of the comparison from last year to this year to see what we're approving and what we're denying. You know, I think Ladies' Night was one of them, and there was some reasons for it, for nonprofit reasons or whatever. Based on that, I think there was a couple other things, so I'd be curious to see what we approved, like kind of a side by side comparison, just to, because obviously they're asking for it again, so I kind of be curious to see a comparison of it before approving it.
do we have that information available at this time?
So through the mayor, for the Ladies' Night, I believe is the fundraisers. This year they applied on their own. And with them applying on their own, they don't qualify for anything because they are not technically a registered not-for-profit or a charitable group, which our policy states. So staff put them in with the Optimist again, because that's the way they've always applied in the past. We've pretty much given them what we gave them last year. We did not give them a cash financial assistance for the night. But we did give them a discount and some free nights rental.
Sorry, Mayor, through you,
Go ahead.
I'm okay with that as long as we're kind of sticking with kind of what, because I remember the not-for-profit thing and putting them in through the Optimist, so they had that not-for-profit status or something, but at least, you know, I think it's an important fundraising event, and I think they do a great job, and, you know, I think it's important to support these events to help promote your community, so, you know, I understand we only have so much, and we did create a policy on this, so I want to make sure we're following our policy as well, but I also want to make sure that we're not shorting a group that fundraises for local community things. So, but if it's similar to what we were giving last year, then I'm okay with it.
Okay, anything further? No, seeing nothing? Okay,
Moved by Pemberton, seconded by Drouillard, that the Council of the Municipality of Dutton Dunwich receives the report of the treasurer titled 2026 Municipal Grant Request dated February 25th, 2026 for information. And that council approve the 2026 municipal grant requests as presented. All in favor? That's carried.
thank you. On to our CAO's report. Human Resources Support Agreement. Tony, take it away.
Through you, Your Worship, thank you. This is a human resource support agreement. We have been using for some time now human resources HR from the county on an ad hoc basis, and further discussions with the county. It does make more sense financially, as well as getting access to expertise in the HR area. There are more things that are becoming complex in legislation, where they would have the knowledge, whether it's with employment standards, workplace investigations, accommodation and human rights, progressive discipline, legislative changes, and compliance. So these are some of the things that locally we don't have that specialized. We have some general HR experience, but on the specialized area, the county HR would play that role very well. Similar to what we have right now with our planning function, we do have an agreement with county planning for planning services. This would be just another extension of utilizing a shared services agreement. The municipality has the option to withdraw from this agreement at any time, so there isn't anything that's going to ensure that we have to stay with this agreement. It's a win-win for both the county as well as Dutton Dunwich, that we have access to the expertise when we need it, and we've been using for various recruitment and other HR-related matters. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that report. Any questions from council on that? Okay, thank you. Randy, please, resolution.
Moved by Drewlard, seconded by Dreyfus, that the Council of the Municipality of Dutton Dunwich receives for information the report from the Chief Administrative Officer titled Human Resources Support Agreement, and that council authorized the Chief Administrative Officer to execute a Human Resources Support Agreement with the County of Elgin. All in favor? That's carried.
Okay, thank you. Item B is the encroachment agreement report, 214 Nancy Street. Tony, take it away.
Thank you. Through your worship, the recommendation is to receive the report as well as that council approve the encroachment provided in Appendix A and direct the CAO to sign the encroachment agreement provided in Appendix B. At the time of this permit submission, the grading and drainage plan was submitted and was forwarded to a consulting engineering for review and comment. Included in their review was a suggestion that an encroachment agreement be required from the property owners as a private tile connection and is not a municipal infrastructure. This is something consistent with what we have done in previous encroachment agreements. We are looking at updating the delegation of authority to the CAO to help with some of these administrative things to keep things moving along on a much quicker basis. But this report right now is before council for their consideration, and as well as any financial implications. The owners of the property are to register the agreement on title at their own cost. There is also a legal review that is also being done as a result of this encroachment agreement.
Thank you for that report, Tony. Any questions from council on that one? Okay, resolution, please, Randy.
Moved by Dreyfus, seconded by Loveland, that the Council of the Municipality of Dutton Dunwich, having received the report of the Chief Administrative Officer titled Encroachment Agreement for 212 Nancy and 214 Nancy on January 28th, 2026 for information, approve the encroachment agreement and plan provided in Appendix A and direct the Chief Administrative Officer to sign the encroachment agreement. All in favor? That's carried.
Okay, thank you. And item C is the Dutton Dunwich pumping station inspections. More good news, Tony. Take it away.
Thank you. Through you, your worship. This request was put toward our engineers, Dillon Consulting, and the purpose is to assess our pumping stations. As council and the community knows, we are currently doing upgrades to pump station number 1. We were fortunate to receive a grant of just over $4.7 million from the province for that, and we're very thankful for those grant dollars. But it doesn't mean that we stop there. So the purpose of this report and this inspection is to take a look at our assets and to take a look at what kind of condition they're in. Obviously, there's some opportunities for some improvements. Some of the items that you'll see here, and it's broken down through various categories, rating conditions, very good, good, fair, poor, and very poor. And you see the summary before you regarding the pumping stations as well. So right now, just to bring to your attention, specifically pump station number 3, very poor, developed detailed rehab or replacement plan. This is something that requires attention. We want to bring it to your attention as well, that we are aware of some of these things that need to be improved on. Some of the things that were identified regarding absence of insulation valves and check valves, no backup power supply or generator connection capability, significant structural deterioration of the wet well, and corrosion of process piping and valves. So this is something that we are going to be taking it very seriously. And it doesn't mean the other ones that are, even though that they're in fair condition, they're not going to be addressed. So the plan is that we're, for some of these pumping stations, we're going to be putting them on a regular maintenance program that they will be looked at on an annual basis once we do some of these upgrades. Some of them is, the issue is water penetrating into some of the wet wells and how we can properly seal those pumping stations as well as any electrical panels. Under the financial section area, administration will be bringing back a report of specific steps and actions of how we're going to address some of these shortfalls and improvements that are needed. And also more importantly, how we're going to fund for these particular improvements. This will probably and more than likely require external grant funding. So administration has started looking to see what grants are available for these types of improvements. And the best we can do is to identify, prioritize, and start making those changes to those pumping stations.
Thank you, Tony. Any questions? Deputy Mayor Loveland.
Yes, through you, Mr. Mayor, to Tony, I know that some of the valve chambers in 2 or 3 of these pumping stations are full all the time every time they inspect them. Is it possible to put some pumps in those so they can stay drier? I know we used to in some of the water stations as well. So.
Through your worship, that's actually a question I did ask the engineers, and they said that it is possible to do that. As we come back to address some of those issues specifically, that will help us and that will prevent some of the continued corrosion that's happening. So once we get those action plans in place, then we have to maintain those sub pumps and making sure that they are being checked, because last thing you want to do is rely on them and then they're failing and then you're back to square one. So that is a good point that has been raised, and that's something that will be part of the solution.
One follow-up question. I guess wouldn't be point blank here. I just wonder how much longer we're going to continue on with them. I really think that, at least personally, I've had some dissatisfaction with some of the work they've done. I think they've not helped us. They've, for 5 years, I asked them to look at the capacity in the pumping station. I was told every time there's no more capacity there. Finally, they found it. I've also that last report they did on the mains and the capacities. There was some mistakes in that. Took me 4 times to get them to look at that and convince it. And I also realized when you read that report, they've also included some parking lots into the capacity for the sewers in that report. So I know it's tough to change engineers when you're partway through, but I just wanted to express my dissatisfaction. Yes, they've helped us through some problems, but haven't helped us as much as they could have.
Any other comments from council? Tony, there was some numbers attached to this report. Do you want to get into that at this point?
Through your worship, the reason why the cost was not put in there, I don't want to put the municipality at a disadvantage if we put these numbers out right now in the public. When we do look for tenders, then there'll be some idea of what those costs will be. So to ensure we get competitive numbers, I prefer not to do it at this time. Again, just to ensure the procurement process is going to be fair. We don't want to, preclude, because those numbers could be, I would expect them to come lower than what we have received for estimates. So just to ensure that we're not prejudicing our procurement, we'd rather just put the tender out, see what kind of bids we get back.
Okay, fair enough. Councillor Dreyfus.
Just a comment, the pump station number 6 is in fair condition, and I see it manages the en route service centers. Is there any obligation on their part to assist in paying for this, or is it totally the municipal responsibility?
No, do you have an answer for that?
That's something that we would have to investigate to see if there are any responsibilities, to see originally if there was an agreement that was made with the en route, if there was any responsibility. So again, that would be something that would be a takeaway that we have to come back.
There was a new force main put in, I forget, during my time on council anyway, that was fully paid for by the service centers or the Ontario government. So I'm thinking, Ken, this is the old pump station that's still on our list?
That's the pump station that was installed when they connected to the sewers. At that time, the province paid for all the costs of that. So it's certainly something worthwhile. Now, we are getting, and James can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we are getting a surcharge from them as well. But I certainly think it's worth investigating. costs there.
It doesn't really show. Where is that station number 6 located?
It's located on the south side of 401, right at the service center.
Yeah.
The north side comes across and it pumps both of them from there right to the plant now.
So it does not affect anything in in Dutton. It's their own pump station and their own force main going to our wastewater treatment plant. So I guess they'd have to fix it, in my opinion, but.
Through you, your worship, we'll definitely start those discussions, and if there's any requirements on the en route operators, I will be pursuing that vigorously.
I know you will. Okay, any other comments? Okay. Resolution, please, Randy.
Moved by Loveland, seconded by Pemberton, that the Council of the Municipality of Dutton Dunwich receives for information the report from the Chief Administrative Officer titled Dutton Dunwich Pumping Station Condition Assessment. All in favor? That's carried.
Of the conservation authorities, rules updates. Go ahead.
Okay, I sat in yesterday on the minister's announcement regarding the conservation authorities, and they have made some changes that affect us. They went from a proposed 7 large conservation authorities to 9. They created a new one up in Sudbury, and divided that one, and the other one they divided was the Lake Erie one into a west and east Lake Erie. So instead of going all the way from Windsor to the Grand River, they're going to include the upper and lower Thames, the Essex and the Lambton conservation areas. That may not be the correct names, but that's the area. So that's probably makes more sense for us in Elgin County. I was surprised that Kettle Creek and Catfish Creek weren't included in that. They've gone the other way with the Grand River one, the eastern Lake Erie. So the other change that's coming is they've put a little bit more money, an additional $3 million a year. First $3 million is to help with the amalgamations. That not huge money, but I guess every little bit counts. I don't think it'll cover anywhere near the cost to amalgamate. The other thing is the representation. The representation is being moved away from the lower tier municipalities to the upper tier. So probably in our case, Elgin will appoint 1 to the Western Lake Erie Conservation Authority, probably 1 to the Eastern. They also have the ability to create some watershed subcommittees. Not quite sure how that will work. That may have a little bit more local representation in it. And I guess the good news maybe is that the allocation for the conservation authorities will be moving away from our budget onto the county's budget. The way the minister put it, the people appointing the representatives will pay the bill. So that will move $65,000 approximately a year off our budget up to the county. Probably going to be way more than that when they go through with amalgamations. But that's in a nutshell where we're going. They want to have this done by this time next year. So there'll be some changes coming very quickly. It's costing them $20 million to establish the new overall organization that's going to kind of tell all the conservations how they're going to do things. So that's a one-time funding. There'll be some funding to run that as well. So I don't see a big cost saving in the long run on any of that. Probably going to be more money, but at least they did listen to us. They did have a lot of concerns expressed about the size of the conservation authorities. So I think we probably ended up about where we hope we might be. I can answer any of the questions or try to.
Well, thank you for that report. I saw James' eyes light up when we're not going to be assessed that levy. Any questions from council? Okay. Any announcements? Seeing none. On to proposed bylaws. The bylaw of the Health and Safety Water Stream Transfer Payment Agreement, and this is kind of time sensitive, so we need to move on this one, and so James can get the paperwork to the province. Is there any, we've seen that? Okay, go ahead. Randy, please.
Moved by Pemberton, seconded by Drouillard, that bylaw 2026-13 being a bylaw to authorize execution of the transfer payment agreement for the Municipal Housing Infrastructure Program Health and Safety Water Stream be read a first, second, and third time and passed. All in favor? That's carried.
Okay, thank you. That brings us to our closed session. We will be going in camera. So to everyone must excuse themselves that can't be here. We want a resolution to go into closed.
Yep.
We'll do that right away.
Moved by Drouillard, seconded by Dreyfus, that the Council for the Municipality of Dutton Dunwich now moves into a session of the meeting that shall be closed to the public at 5:41 p.m. in accordance with Section 239(2) of the Municipal Act, SO 2001 C25, for discussion of the following matters: the security of the property of the municipality, S 239(2)A of the Municipal Act, fraud prevention, and B, litigation or potential litigation affecting the municipality, S 239(2)E of the Municipal Act, and personal matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employees, S 39(2)B of the Municipal Act, legal updates. All in favor? And that's carried.
Okay, we'll take a couple minutes.
Moved by Dreyfus, seconded by Loveland, that the Council for the Municipality of Dutton Dunwich hereby comes out of the closed session of the meeting at 7:02 p.m. and the regular meeting reconvenes. All in favor? That's carried.
Thank you, Randy. And down to bylaw 2025-14, confirm proceedings.
Moved by Loveland, seconded by Pemberton, that bylaw 2025-14 being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the Municipal Council of the Municipality of Dutton Dunwich be read a first, second, and third time and passed. All in favor? That's carried.
Okay, the next meeting dates are in front of you, and we'll wrap it all up, Randy.
Moved by Pemberton, seconded by Drouillard, that the meeting of the Council of the Municipality of Dutton Dunwich closes at 7:03 p.m. All in favor? That's carried.
Okay, thank you.